I want to tell you a story now that is very, very troubling to me. This is the story of an 8-year-old Guatemalan boy who was brought here years ago, I believe 3 or 4 years ago, was trafficked into the United States from Guatemala, had severe learning disabilities. Police officers found him in a car in the Dallas area with a man who was not his father. And they know that because they ended up DNA testing this guy. This poor little child was slurring his words, couldn't stay awake. They feared the worst. They then do an investigation and find out that he had been trafficked, sold to this guy by his mother. Now he's here. They rescue him. They get this little boy into a foster home. And now they want to send this little boy back, deport him back to not his family, not family members who may love on him, but to his original captor who had already been deported. How backwards is this? Why can't our government critically think and realize this is a problem? Now, I'm supposed to be, in the eyes of the Democrats, a racist, evil, heartless Republican. Why am I fighting then for an 8-year-old Guatemalan boy not to be deported? Because I'm not heartless. I'm not racist. And I do believe that these children who are brought here as a result of our open border policies that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have enacted are victims of crime. I always protect victims. And that's what these kids are. So the local CBS station did a story on this. And I want to play some of it and talk about it as it goes because it is heart-wrenching. And it proves the trafficking problem created by Joe Biden's and Kamala Harris's open borders has victims everywhere. Crime victims in the United States, American citizens who are victims of these open border policies. As we see gang members like Tren de Agua. We know about the Aurora, Colorado situation of taking over apartment complexes. MS-13 gang members, drunk driving accidents, you name it. But then there's the victims of those who are paying to come here, those who are sold into sex and worker slave trafficking. Many of them die in the desert getting here. Others live a life of slavery here in the United States. This kid is saved, and his foster parents want to keep them. The Doers, they sound like an amazing family. Let's roll this piece by CBS in New York. In Dallas. This is from the police report, and I'll read it to you. That the guy I just showed you was slurring his speech and was unable to stay awake long enough to speak with officers. Officers believe the boy was in danger due to the fact that he was unconscious inside an unlocked vehicle with his child. Romy was intoxicated, that's the suspect, to the point that the boy was left unsupervised. Now the parents just want this kid back. He's been taken by the state of Texas under threat that they would charge the foster parents with kidnapping. Charge them with kidnapping. How do you charge the family with kidnapping when they're trying to protect this child from going back with child sex traffickers? This is part of the letter, and I'll read it to you. We have determined that you are subjected to severe form of trafficking in persons in accordance, blah, 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 because you're eligible to apply for benefits and services to the same extent as a refugee. This is a letter to the child. The letter does not confer immigration status, but you can stay here. Part of the refugee resettlement program, even under Biden, is if you're a victim of trafficking, you have some other rights. So why is Department of Families, Children and Families trying to take this kid back? This is the child with the foster family. And they say now his learning disabilities have gotten better. He's a happy young child. And there's one part where the mom is crying and she says, I would just keep him if I could. We would keep him. And if we can't have him, get him in another foster family. We just want him back. Do not send him to Guatemala at any cost, because if you send him to Guatemala, you're basically signing a death warrant for this kid. You tell me these folks don't look happy. Of course they do. Little child, happy as can be. This, folks, is the picture of them surrounding the foster family in a garage and accusing them, if you don't give the child up, we're going to arrest you. So, of course, they give the child up. We need help for this family. We really, really do. We need help, and it's imperative that we get them help. And I think we're going to do it. I've talked to a number of members of Congress, and we'll see if we can get this kid some help.